Hello Gunners, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to go through 3 midfielders who I think are relatively cheap that Arsenal should go for this summer. I've already made videos on players I think we should sign, but today is going to be something a bit different in terms of budget and just maybe players you haven't heard of before. But before I begin, if you're new here, please smash the subscribe button, like this video and turn on those notifications if you haven't already. It's going to be an interesting video and there's a lot of content coming this summer. Without further ado, let's begin. So number 1, I think you guys know who it is, Youssouf Fofana. I'm a massive fan of this guy. I made a video about him a couple of days ago saying that I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to go for him. For 25-30 million, this guy's got everything you would want in a 6/8. Highly energetic, relatively young, 25, still in his prime years. There's still a lot for him to achieve in football, and I think working under Mikel Arteta, we can really get the best out of him. He's one player I would definitely watch at the Euros this summer, Arsenal fans, because I really do see us maybe being a bit interested in him because it's just an incredible market opportunity. Strong, athletic, quick, really nifty on the ball, and I said this in the video I did on him a couple of days ago. He's a bit like Thomas Partey. He sees the eye for the pass, threads it through defensive, threads it through the midfield. He knows where to position himself to intercept the ball, and that's what you want from your midfielder in this day and age of football. Somebody that has the quality to receive the ball, turn, pick out a pass, but then also somebody who has the ability to go the other way, athletic, quick, knows how to anticipate. These are the sort of things you're looking for in a 6/8. And I feel like Fofana will be good in that 6 role with the energy he has, playing just in front of Declan Rice for a budgeted price of 35 million. I think that's an absolute bargain. I don't know about you guys. Let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are on Youssouf Fofana. I've already said I love him, and I think he's the sort of player we need to get maybe below another midfielder. But today, of course, is just about players who are going to be on the slightly cheaper side. The second player on my list is Amadou Onana of Everton, and it's such a shame because a report actually came out a couple of hours ago saying that Arsenal aren't going to move for Fofana, and he's not the sort of midfielder we want. But I think for the price Everton are wanting around that 40 million mark, it's got to be a no-brainer. He is the sort of perfect midfielder I'm on about, somebody who has the quality to come in and play games like Fofana, but also has the quality to be that sort of second option. He can play also 6 and 8, and his legs are ridiculous. I'm sorry, I don't know how much you guys are into football, but when I'm analysing a player, I look at their best attributes. Some things come to players as a genetics thing, some things come to players as a quality sort of thing. But Onana's legs just help him so much. He has long strides, he's able to win the ball back off counter-attacks, off those quick players with quick feet. You just can't get away from him. He's just got so much athleticism on him, and that's what you want from your midfield. Imagine having Declan Rice next to Onana. You'd have 2 excellent options out of possession with Martin Odegaard just in front. It would be an absolute dream for Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta wants physicality. Onana has that, and his technical ability is absolutely insane. I don't get the argument that Onana isn't good on the ball because I've watched this guy play a lot for Everton and a lot for Lille. He has all that quality you would want from a midfielder on the ball. And the way he drives with the ball is at such a high level too. You're not going to miss out anything getting this guy. And for a 40 million, 45 million that Everton want, they're willing to sell him. He's an incredible market opportunity. And don't get me started on how young he is. He's only 22 years of age. So there's still a lot of growth for him. We know Mikel Arteta loves working with these younger players and turning them into world-class players. And I see that happening with Onana, and it would be such a shame if we have pulled the plug on that, because I would get that Onana and then get someone else to play in, you know, the higher up positions for maybe a much higher price. But obviously, as I've said, it's a budgeted sort of video. I know 45 million, 40 million doesn't sound as cheap as Youssouf Fofana's 25-30 million, but still 2 top quality players. And before I go on to the third player, I just want you guys to let me know, out of the 2 I've talked about, Onana and Fofana, which one would you prefer? Ignore the price for now. I know both are around that 30 to 40 million range, 25 to 30 million range in Fofana's case. So let's not talk about that and just go off quality. If you guys have watched Fofana, if you guys have watched Onana, who suits our play better? Because for me, it's such a hard decision, but I think Fofana, he's just such an interesting sort of player. He has that sort of passing quality that is a lot better than Onana's. He also is, you know, reliable. He's played at the highest levels for Monaco. He's been a captain, he knows leadership roles, and he's getting called up to France. And France are a ridiculously competitive team, especially in the midfield area. So the fact he's being trusted by Deschamps to come into the side, play games, whether that be off the bench, whether that be from the start, just shows the sort of quality he has. I've talked about two sort of defensive 8/6s to give us that versatility, but this one's a bit of a wild card. I'm actually going to be talking about Eberechi Eze. And I know you guys are going to be thinking he's a bit of an advanced sort of midfielder. He's nothing like the two I've mentioned. He can't play the 6, obviously. He's more of an 8/winger. But I think after seeing the report coming out that he has a release clause of around 60 to 68 million, that's a bargain. You don't get these sort of players for them prices anymore, unfortunately. You would think Crystal Palace would want around 100 million for Eze, but the sort of quality he has is what we're missing in that midfield. We want somebody with a bit more creativity. It's all well and good going after players who can play the 6 and the 8, but we mustn't forget we are a team that have the ball a lot. So Eze will just have to learn how to position himself in that left 8 position, and it can really be a good signing. I know I talked about budget, but 68 million for me is a budgeted shorter sort of deal for a player of Eze's quality. I watched him for England actually at St James's Park, and he was absolutely incredible. The way he received the ball, the way he turns past players like they're not even there, absolutely kills them dead. And I don't know if you guys remember at the Emirates Stadium when we played Crystal Palace, Eze was the best player on the pitch. He was just gliding through our midfield like they weren't even there. And I was just like, wow, this kid is absolutely incredible. He actually used to be at Hale End. We actually let him go. And that's such a shame when you see how good he's turned out. But that's how football is. You can't always have the best players. But for me, Eze, we look at his output as well. Incredible for Crystal Palace, him and Elise. My only sort of worry with him compared to the other two players I've talked about is his injuries. He does get injured for a sustained period of time. So momentum won't be there across a whole season. And we need players who are always available, always have that momentum. And I don't know, with Eze's injury record, I don't know if we can really count on him to be available for a 38 game, plus Champions League, plus FA Cup, plus Carabao Cup season. But let me know, Gunners. I know two of them you've heard a lot in the media, but I think they're on the cheaper aspect. We've talked about João Neves. We've talked about, I don't know, Frankie de Jong. We've talked about all of these players who are really expensive, around that, I would say around 100 million for those two, at least. Then you've got the likes of Eze, who's a bit more attacking, around that 60 million mark. You can always pay that in installments. And I think he's just a player of that quality who's already had Premier League experience. That's another thing with him and Onana. They have that Premier League experience. They look quite like no-brainers. Obviously, I didn't mention this before, but with Eze, I do think we would have to sell Smith Rowe. We'd have to sell Nelson. We'd have to sell Nketiah, of course, to bring him in. We have to accommodate him. And I don't think Smith Rowe will get the minutes with Eze here in that sort of 8 role. But yeah, that's it for now, Gunners. Let me know about the 3 players I've mentioned. I know I said budgeted and then I come out with 68 million for Elise. But I think player value, Elise would be around 120 million, 100 million in this day and age, unfortunately. So that 60 million makes me feel like he's a bit more of a cheaper option. But anyway, that's it for now. If you've enjoyed, of course, like, share and subscribe and turn on those notifications. Until next time, peace.